ISIS is losing ground in Mosul as Iraqi forces close in on the last neighborhoods still held by the terrorists. Iraqi commanders say they hope to liberate the entire city by the end of the week. This war on terror, especially the thugs of ISIS, being conducted in large part by drones. They have played a key and growing role in hunting down our most dangerous enemies. Our next guest was a member of one of the elite special forces teams piloting those drones. Velicovich is a former Delta intelligence analyst and author of the new book, Drone Warrior. Brett, it's good to have you on.
Good to be with you.
You have had some incredible experiences hunting these people from the air. It's got to be a difficult and all-consuming kind of job.
It absolutely is. I mean, information is power, and that's what drones bring us. You know, think about all the things you do all day long that you might not hope anybody's watching. And when it comes to drones, we're watching. And so drones give us this ability, unlike any wars that we've fought for centuries, to know so much about our enemy. It's no longer just a little gray helmet in a trench. Now we have all kinds of information that allow us to make decisions and still decide, yes, this person today needs to die.
But you had, at one point, you had Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the head of ISIS, essentially in your sights, and the higher-ups in Washington said no?
Well, this was a team that was out there, and you got to remember that, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, he was not the original leader of the Islamic State, and he was actually one of the reasons that the original leaders met their demise by coalition forces in 2010. But when he took over the ranks, U.S. troops were pulling out of Iraq, and so the rules of warfare had changed. So the team that was actually out there hunting them had fallen under a different set of rules and guidelines for utilizing drones. And what was supposed to be a raid that would have taken place that same night ended up taking 2 weeks to actually happen.
So you didn't get him. You perhaps could have. The Russians say they got him earlier in June, but the evidence on that is mixed.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I mean, I think the U.S. government would have known for sure if Baghdadi was dead. They've got so much information. They're going after these guys every single day. We've got brave men and women that are fighting these guys in the streets and that are hunting these guys down. And let me be clear. I mean, this should serve as a message to just about anyone that's even thinking about joining the ranks of ISIS, that if you go over there, coalition forces are either going to kill you or ISIS will. And if you even think for 1 second that you can hurt American soldiers, that you can kill innocent Iraqi civilians, well, you better get ready for a life on the run, because American forces, don't forget, they're going to come after you and they're going to find you one of these days. And so right now that's taking place every single day in Iraq. We've got an incredible group of men and women that are fighting these guys and that are protecting the American people.
You and your team had an incredible record, what, taking out 14 of the 20 most wanted terrorists in Iraq?
Yeah, at one point, I mean, that goes to show how fast we are. We have to be as fast as the enemy. They're not taking the weekends off, so we need to be mobile and we need to move with them, and that requires our teams to be able to operate at a different level. And so in this case, that was our job. The American people, the American government asked us to hunt terrorists down, hunt down these leaders in these groups, and we needed to do it as fast as possible because we wanted to stop another attack either on innocent civilians or on American soldiers.
But I know the responsibility and maybe the pressure can get to you, and you get into this in the book. I mean, you've got life and death power right there in your trigger finger, and you're watching all of this, through a television camera via drone.
Yeah, of course it is. And the men and women that are behind these operations every single day, it's hard for them to disconnect because they know the incredible power that they have and how important it is to stop another attack. And that if your team does not get this guy, that he lives another day to hurt Americans and even come potentially here on our soil and get us. And so it's hard to disconnect from that. Of course, you always want to go after the enemy. And even when we would come back home, I would be 50, 60 pounds lighter. My face would be ghostly white. People wouldn't recognize me because of the stress involved in going after these targets.
It is an incredible read. Drone Warrior, the author, Velicovich. Thanks for sharing your story. Thank you for your service.
Thank you again.